Hi everyone, Ajit here. Today we're going to learn about an important chapter of Excel which is called cell reference. So in Excel, what is cell reference? Why we need cell reference actually? So we will learn about this today. Okay. So before we move forward, let's first know about these two words. What is a cell and what is reference? Some people often call it as cell address as well. Okay. So what is a cell reference? What is a cell and what is a reference? Okay. Let's move. So here we can see a this whole is called a Excel workbook. It consists of 5 worksheets. Okay. These are the worksheets. And now we can see in every Excel worksheet, there are some columns. These are the columns. And there are some rows as well. These are the rows. Okay. Whenever in Excel worksheet a column intersects a row, suppose the D column intersects row number 3, then this cell forms. This is called a cell. Okay. This is a cell. Whenever you place your cursor, you will get a cell. And how do we know about the cell actually? So to know a cell, we need its cell reference or cell address. Okay. So to know the cell, we have to know its cell address. So how do we know about its cell address? So if you want to know the cell address, then you have to first get its column name, then its row name. Suppose this is the cell. This cell belongs to D column and 3 number row. That means this cell's address should be D3. Here we can see in the address pane. This is called the address pane. Here you can see D3. Whenever you place your cursor, you will get the cell address here, address pane. And this is the formula pane. Okay. So now we know the what is the cell reference. Now let's move forward. Why we need actually the cell reference? Why do we even need that? Okay, let me give you an example. Suppose these are 3 numbers. I have to count the total number, total of it. Then we will just manually calculate it. Sorry. Suppose 30 plus 30 plus 60. So this is 120. Okay. So this total is correct. I don't know. I don't tell that this is wrong. This is correct. But whenever we change some number in between that, suppose we will change it 30 to 20, then no effects shown to the total. Okay. So this is the problem. If you want to show the change, then you have to come to the formula and manually change it to 20. Then only you will get the accurate total. Okay. So this is manual task, and we don't want the manual task to do again and again. So here we need the cell reference. Here the cell reference comes into picture. Okay. So if we use instead of using the manual numbers, if you use cell reference, then the calculation become dynamic. See, first we get the H11, H12 plus H13 plus H14. These are the cell references or cell addresses. Now we get the total number. Whenever we change the numbers in between them, so we will get the accurate total of the numbers. So this is the benefit of a cell referencing. Okay, there are many more different cell benefits of cell reference. First, we know it make easier to create dynamic formulas. We saw here. It is maintain the consistency throughout. If you work across multiple sheets, then you will get the dynamic calculation by using cell reference. In terms of efficiency, it saves time by eliminating the need to manually adjust the formulas. Here we manually before Initially we have manually adjust the formulas, but after we use the cell reference, this got dynamic. So this is helpful. Okay. So let's move forward. Now we'll know about how many types of cell reference is there in Excel. So there are three types of cell reference in Excel. First is relative cell reference, which is by default in Excel. Second is absolute cell reference, and third is mixed cell reference. And how will you denote the cell reference in Excel? Suppose we'll denote C6. Okay, so this is called relative cell reference, and we'll note about the cell reference, absolute cell reference in the next sheet. So move forward to the next sheet. We'll know about the absolute cell reference. So first let us know about the relative cell reference first. What is the relative cell reference? So here I have taken some manual data. These are some products given. These are the quantities, and this is the unit price. Now we have to count the total sale of each and every product. So how will we get that? You have to multiply the unit price with the quantity, and we will get the total sales. And now as we get the total sales of the first record, now if we want the same for all the records, what we'll have to do, what we will have to do, you have to just copy the formula and paste it below. Okay, now we will get the total. There is another trick for that. You have to just place your cursor from the bottom right of the cell. Your mouse pointer will change to a black color plus sign, which is called a fill handle. Now will after your mouse cursor will change to the fill handle, you have to just double click on the cell. Then your formula will copy down. Okay. So in this way, we will get the total sale of each and every record. Now we will move forward. Now, can we notice there are some formula differences here? Here we can see we have multiplied the C6 multiplied with D6, but whenever we drag it below, we will get C7 to D7. Here the cell reference, relative cell reference. Whenever we drag the formula down means we are dragging the formula across the row. See, this is 6 row, this is 7 row, this is 8 row. That means whenever we drag the formula down, that means we are dragging the formula across the row. And whenever we drag the formula across the row, here we see C6 multiplied D6 converted it to into C7 multiplied into D7. That means in the previous sheet we see that this is the row, sorry, this is the column, and this is the row. C means this is the column name, and 7 means this is the row name. That means whenever we drag the formula down, we only see the 7 got 8, 8 got 9, 9 got 10, 10 got 11, and so on. That means the row changes, but the column remains constant because we are in the same column. We are not going to anywhere in to the another column. We are in the same column. That's why the column remains same, but the row changes because we are moving across the rows. Okay. Whenever you drag the formula towards the across the columns, there is no need for that, but I am just showing you because of I'm just giving you an example. Okay, so whenever we drag this formula towards the right, you can see here this is C6 multiplied to D6, but here if we drag the formula towards right, then it becomes D6 multiply E6. This Here we can see there are everywhere there are six only. That means we are in the same row. Six means row. That means we are in the same row, but we are changing we are going from one column to another column. That's why the column changes here. See, here this is CD, this is here, this is DE. Here this is EF. That means we are going from one column to another column. So that's why this is called relative cell reference, and this is by default in Excel. Okay. So what do you mean by in a single word? We have to say that whenever we drag the formula towards the row, then the row changes. Whenever we drag the formula across the column, then the column changes. That's why it is called relative cell reference. Okay, because it is related to the rows and columns. Okay, so let's move forward to the absolute cell reference. Here we have taken the same example, but in a different manner. Here we have to count the total sale, but after the discount of 10%. So how will we calculate that? Let's calculate. First of all, we will type a equal to sign. Then we have to go multiply it with the quantity, then multiply it with the unit price. Now we get the total sales, but we have to multiply it with the discount. That's why, and after that we will get our total sales after discount. Okay, so we'll have to multiply it with the discount. Okay, so now we will multiply it 1 minus discount percentage. See friends, I am not gonna share the formulas because all of you know about how we calculate the percentage difference. Okay, so here we get the total sales after the discount, 10% discount. Here we if you count manually, then you will go this way as well. This is this way. First we have multiplied the unit price with the total quantity, then we have get the percentage discount percentage. After that we will subtract from 12,000 to 1200 to 120, then we will get 180, sorry, 1080. Okay, now we will now here we get our total, but whenever we drag the formula down, we will get some errors. Why will get error? Let's debug. Okay, so come to the first cell. Here we can see that we have here we have multiplied C5 multiply into D5. Okay, this is correct. But whenever we drag the formula 1 minus E2, it becomes E3 here. See, this is C6 multiplied D6. That means it is correct. It is multiplying these two. This is correct. But whenever we drag the formula, E2 becomes E3. But there is nothing in E3. See, is there anything in the C3 cell? No, nothing in the C3. That's why we are getting errors. Okay, whenever we drag down, and we will get E4. Here E5. See, why we facing this issue? Because in the previous video we discussed that whenever a cell in relative cell reference, whenever we drag it across the row, its row changes. Whenever we will drag the formula towards its across its column, and then its column will change. So here we will drag the relative cell reference. That means E2 across the row. That's why it changes to E3, E4, E5, and so on. So you have to fix it. We have to fix it. And how will we fix it? By using absolute cell reference. And how will you apply absolute cell reference? Just we have to press a shortcut key, that is F4. This is the shortcut, but you can manually add a dollar sign in front of the column name, that means in front of E, and in front of the row name, that is 2. So manually you can do that, otherwise you can press F4. See, our formula got absolute cell representation. If now we will drag the formula towards down, then we'll get the accurate result. See, and wherever you place your cursor, you will get everywhere in E2 as well. Everywhere you will get E2. It's not changing anytime. Okay. So this is how absolute cell reference helps us. So now let's move forward to the next sheet where we will see the mixed cell reference. Here I have taken some example demo data. These are some salesperson name. These are their basic salaries. And now we have to count the TA, DA, and DHRA. In this net salary, I have already applied some formula to this. That's why it is showing the basic only. If we put the TA, DA, and HRA, then it will calculate the total dynamically. Okay. So we have to focus on this TA, DA, and HRA. And how will we count that? Well, I have given some percentage, and based on this percentage, we have to calculate the TA, DA, and HRA. So this TA and DA and HRA will calculate from the basics. This TA will be the 10% of the basics, DA will be the 20% of the basics, and HRA will be the 75% of the basics. So how will we calculate? Let's first apply the formula. So first of all, we will multiply it basic, multiply with the percentage. If we drag to towards right, then we will get some error. See, this is looking quite weird. See, if 10,355 10% is this much, then how will be the 20% will this much? Is there is some error, na? So we have to debug it. So let's come to the first cell and see what is happening. Here we have multiplied the basic salary with the discount percentage. Whenever we drag it towards down, as these cells are in relative cell reference, whenever we drag this, that means we are going from one column to another column. There are the columns changes. The C becomes D and D becomes E. See here first C D C5 multiply D2. Here we will see D5 multiply E2. So C becomes D and D becomes E. Okay. So, but we don't need this because now it is calculating the 20% of TA. But we are, what we need, we have to count the total 20% of basic only, not the TA's 20%. Okay. So, what should we do here? We'll apply. Let's apply as we see in the previous sheet in absolute cell difference. We have to freeze the C5 only because we are moving in the same. We are remaining in the same row. So there is we are moving towards the across the column. That's why we have to freeze this cell difference. So we will press F4 and we will get the accurate result for the record. But here there is another problem. See, whenever we drag the formula, when we drag the formula across the row, it will throw another error. See, and why there is this error? Let's debug it as well. So come to the first cell. Here what we have done that we have freezed the C5 reference, but we uh, keep free to the D2 cell. Okay. So whenever we drag the formula down, the D2 becomes D3, which is not required. See, in D3 there is nothing. We have to stay in D2 always because this is the percentage what we will have to multiply with. So, but here we can see there is always C5 here, but we don't want that. We have to whenever we drag the formula down, it will automatically count. It should count the C6, D C7, C8 and so on. So what should we do? Here we, as we drag the formula down, so for this C5, what we need whenever we drag the formula across the row, then it will become C6, D6, sorry, C7, C8. That means the column will remain constant, but the row should change. Okay. So what will we do now? So we have to, as we will remain in the same column. So we will make the column constant and let free the row. So here the first problem got solved. Then come to the next problem where the D2 becomes D3 whenever we drag the formula down. So what we will have to do here, whenever we drag the formula towards the, across the row, there is nothing happening because we are in the same column. The problem will not happen in this scenario. But when we drag the formula across the column, we'll get some problem. So what we have to do, we have to freeze the row because we are in the same row. We'll be in the same row, but whenever we drag it's towards the column, it should change to D2 to E2, E2 to F2. So we have to make row constant. So if we put a dollar sign in front of the row, sorry, wait. So we have to put a dollar sign in front of the row and make the column free, because when will we drag the formula toward across the column should change from D2 to E2, E2 to F2. Okay. So now let's see our formula is working fine or not. See, our formula is working fine. Okay. So here we did the, here what is this called, if here the column is absolute but the row is relative, and here the row is relative, sorry, the row is absolute and the column is relative. Okay. So this is called one relative, one absolute, one absolute, one relative. That means this is called mixed cell reference. So this is how mixed cell reference helps us in the real world scenarios. Okay. So friends, that's all for this video. I hope you like this video. Thank you. Bye bye.